Thank you. Haji Sam.
Yeah, clear, clear, clear. Sound okay, sound okay.
Okay, thank you. Dengar, dengar.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening. Good evening, sir. Mr. Ravi.
Yeah, yeah, good evening, sir. How are you?
How are you? Fine, sir. Fine, sir. Vanakkam, sir.
வணக்கம் சார்.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Yes, good afternoon, all.
Yes,
Nice to see all of you.
yeah, great to meet you again.
Yeah, thanks to Ravi. We meet again.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you. Welcome, Dr. Peng, Miro.
Yeah.
I was just worried. Our joining here today is our Dr. Pengara is joining us, and uh, uh, Mr. Tawa from the inspectorate is here as well.
Nice.
Okay, a very good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Ken.
Okay, a very good afternoon to SJKT Lada Batarabi Headmaster and Chebi Armugam, facilitators, headmasters, and teachers from SJKT Lada Batarabi, SMK Sri Matang, SJKT Nilai, SJKT Dengkil, and SJKT Taman Permata. In this special moment, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our facilitators today yang berusaha Dr. Lambat Tanah Lindung, Pengarah IPGK Batu Lintang Sarawak, Mr. Ravi Gopal, lecturer in IPG Campus Batu Lintang Sarawak, Dr. Peng Chu, founder Samsel Foundation from Allied Australia, and Dr. Miro, technical officer Samsel Foundation, and also Mr. Tavarajan Subramaniam. Okay, we are here again for another wonderful and valuable program, which are third collaboration STEM project based learning on Runlinc Internet of Things and Artificial Intelligence program with IPG Batu Lintang Sarawak. Next, I would like to invite our headmaster, Mr. Armugam Velu, to deliver his speech.
okay, எல்லா வல்லுநர்களுக்கும் தாய்க்கும் தமிழுக்கும் வணக்கம். Thank you very much for the speech. Very good afternoon and wonderful greetings to the Honorable Director of IPG Campus Batu Lintang Sarawak, Dr. Lambat Anadilo, Mr. Ravi Gopal, lecturer of IPG Batu Lintang Campus Sarawak, Dr. Peng Chu, the founder of Stem Cell Foundation Australia, Dr. Milo, Chief Technical Officer Stem Cell Foundation Australia, Mr. Tawa, JMJK, dear principals, respected teachers, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to express my wonderful appreciation to the IPG Batu Lintang campus and Stem Cell Foundation Australia who are willing to collaborate and network with SAKT Larang Batarabi Telu Intan Pera Malaysia. It is an outstanding effort to share knowledge and build strategies to lead the STEM world with effective PBL implementation. Today, session will be based on Internet of Things, IoT, artificial intelligence, AI, and how it can be collaborate with Stem Cell Foundation own innovation Runlinc. All these will be fundamental this school to upgrade in project or program based on learning in STEM. Surely it will give a valuable knowledge for the students and also to the teachers to upgrade their skills and PBL based on STEM. I also took opportunity to IIB Genting Island branch Malaysia and NPPL 2021 participant Puan Satya Priya Kumar, who took the effort and provide this networking platform. I hope this effort will be last to sake of the excellence of the students of this school. Thank you very much, Nandri Manakam.
Thank you, sir. Okay, without wasting time, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Dr. Lambat Anak Lindung, Pengarah IPGK Batu Lintang Sarawak, to deliver his special speech. Please, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Madam MC. Good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are. Mr. Armugam Velu, Headmaster of SJKT Ladang Batak Rabi Teluk Intan. Madam Satya Priya Kumar, teacher and NPQEL candidate. Mr. Tabarajan Subramaniam, Principal Assistant Director at School Inspectorate Putrajaya, Headmasters of SJKT Nilai, SJKT Dengkil, and SJKT Taman Permata. Teachers, Dr. Peng Chu and Dr. Miroslav Koteski from Samstel Foundation, Adelaide, Australia. Lecturers and teachers who are with us today. First of all, I would like to say thanks to the organizers for inviting me to say a few words in this Smart STEM webinar for Tamil primary schools. This project, initiated by Mr. Ravi Gopal, lecturer from Institute of Teacher Education, Batu Lintang Campus, Kuching, and Mr. Tabarajan, inspector from Putrajaya, has seen a series of workshops conducted for teachers since the 2nd September of this year with Institute of Teacher Education, Batu Lintang Campus lecturers, school teachers, Unit 10 and UNIMAS lecturers. And for today, with Stem Cell Foundation from Adelaide, Australia. All in all, a total of 7 workshops for teachers have been conducted by Institute of Teacher Education, Batu Lintang Campus, as part of our initiative to support collaboration and cooperation between our institute and schools. We hope that the collaboration and cooperation will benefit teachers and students to enhance STEM education in primary schools by creating interest among students in the related subjects before they pursue their secondary education. Various hands-on activities such as solar car installation, virtual reality and augmented reality, the green box innovation have given teachers and students room for creativity and innovation, evidence that the series of workshops is successful in training the trainers. As mentioned by several scholars, it is important to build a strong foundation for STEM experiences during the formative years of cognitive and social development of a student's life. With successful research-based learning experiences at the primary level, students will progress to secondary school with a groundwork in STEM learning, experiences, and practice. All young children have the intellectual capability to learn science. They have a rich knowledge of the natural world, they demonstrate causal reasoning, and they are able to discriminate between reliable and unreliable sources of knowledge. Teacher preparation and professional development in content and pedagogy should be held frequently and should include the best practices and experiences in STEM fields. As mentioned recently by Professor Noraini Idris, chairperson of National STEM, annually some 447,000 students sit for the PT3 examinations, but only 19% of them qualify and enter science stream in Form 4. Why? The reason is that STEM subjects are harder comparatively, and many parents believe that there's no future in STEM. Additionally, based on education graduates in 2019 from local universities, science graduates only comprise 1/4 of the total number of graduates. This scenario will greatly hamper our efforts to produce IR 4.0 talents in line with industry demand. Back to this webinar, I would like to congratulate everyone on its success. Headmasters and teachers who participate in our workshop are given certificate of participation, while speakers and moderators are given certificate of appreciation. Our Teacher Education Institute, Batu Lintang campus in Kuching here, welcomes future collaboration and cooperation with any SJKT from the peninsula to enhance STEM education for the future benefit of our young children in higher learning, skills training, and correspondingly acquisition of decent jobs in a prosperous and developed nation. Wishing everyone a fruitful webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Good,
Doctor.
sir. Thank you.
Okay, next, without wasting time, I would like to invite Mr. Ravi Gopal, our moderator, to continue the session.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Pengara, and also Guru Besar, Mr. Mugamilu. Yeah. So our webinar will continue today. Yeah, with two extinguished speakers from Stem Cell Foundation. They'll be talking about the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. I think, as I mentioned earlier, there are 12 clusters of technology, as mentioned by Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum president. And out of the 12 technology mentioned, one of the most important technology is artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. Yeah. So therefore, we would like to invite Dr. Peng to address or to share his views about his Stem Cell Foundation and about the subject first before we invite Dr. Miroslav. Dr. Peng, please.
Yep. Thank you so much, Ravi. Good to see you again. And I think I see a few familiar faces here, even though I can't see the whole 27 people here. And I think I saw Mr. Velu there. At least I got to see him the last time. And good to see you again, and some of the other teachers. And this is the first time I meet up with Bangara of Batu Lintang. Good to see you, sir. And I'm not far from you. Originally, I'm from Brunei. Yeah, so we are pretty close neighbors, and it's really a great pleasure to be able to tell this very special Borneo story. Call it a Borneo story, Pen Borneo story, right? And as well as obviously now going into Perak, isn't it? The school is in Telok Intan, and so the journey that I have experienced to share with all of you is that of quite extraordinary, in the sense that I discover a lot of talents in Malaysia, and some of them obviously have taken on board this technology that Miro is going to show you, that can help every mother and father to achieve their dreams of why they send their kids to school in order to get a job, I suspect. Yeah, like my parents sent me to schools in order to get a job so that we can help back the family. As simple as that. So based on that experience, using a technology that has a certain advantage, competitive advantage, which every parents are looking for. So we said then to end up getting a job, we will use this technology maybe to help parents to help their children to win 2 types of competition. Yeah, the hot subject today is STEM with Internet of Things, if possible, with artificial intelligence as well. So if we have somehow the opportunity to help children from 10 years old to 20 years old during their journey in that certain section of their education journey from 10 to 20 years old to win maybe 3 to 5 major STEM competitions with social impact. And I think naturally, the next step will be applying for a scholarship. Let's say by the time they are about 16 years old, pre-university, and just about from 5, if they can win a foundation scholarship to go to colleges, like so many of them, right? Teller come to my mind, Sunway, so many other colleges that could provide them with that free education because they have proven themselves to be worth it, having won 3 to 5 major international STEM competition with social impact. And so by then, I think the chance of winning a full scholarship in the university for 3 to 4 years is very high. By then, you can see that the opportunities start coming thick and fast, because by the time, let's say, the student have that scholarship in university, I think by the second year, the student could have internship with some of the big techs and the big fours, United Nations even, right? And even with ministers, we have interns here with our government ministers while they are doing their university studies. So then I hope by the time they complete the second year out of 4 years of engineering degree, they would be able to be headhunted by some of these big companies because they are already in internship with some of the big techs or the big fours. And so that is the education model that we built around this technology that provide the competitive advantage that you will see how Miro demonstrate that. But in summation, this technology competitive advantage is based on finishing a STEM project with IoT and AI, which normally doesn't happen yet in schools, even in Australia. Generally, it's just STEM without Internet of Things and not obviously artificial intelligence. And so with a few lines of code or programs, these young children, starting from, as I said, 10 years old, call it 100 hours. Yeah, even extra curriculum. So every Saturday, 2 hours per Saturday times 50 weeks. So that is roughly about 100 hours of a 10-year-old student's journey. And he should be able to start making projects that, for example, an intruder alarm with 6 lines of code compared to hundreds of lines of coding, which puts them off. And 1 line to create the vision between the camera, let's say your mobile phone camera and the laptop, in order for the mother to see what's happening at home or see whether anybody is coming to the house from her office laptop with the IP camera in the house or in front of the door with 1 line of code on it. And then 2 lines of code. She will be able to make a web page with 2 buttons in her laptop. And if she sees somebody trying to get into the house, you just press the on button to sound an alarm or flashlight if it is nighttime, right? And with 3 lines of code, this mother will be able to make an AI voice warning message, like the children will type in to Runlinc, this program, police on the way. Your video is sent to the police with your GPS location. run or you go to jail. So these are capability that the American professors in Philadelphia, Temple University told us, there's no way that the children can even enjoy that sort of experience. And university students are struggling to even complete a project like that with 6 lines of code, 1 + 2 + 3. And they expect it would take them weeks of work using the traditional compatible technology like Arduino. And whereas these young students, after short few hours of training, they will be able to complete that project to ignite the interest. I hear Bangara say that this STEM, together with Datuk Noraini and all these World Economic Forum and so forth, that STEM rise very high. But unless you have a competitive advantage like this, they are going to be blocked. Their creativity, their ideas, their imagination will be blocked because the fire is not there to ignite their interest in STEM. Whereas imagine, with the help of parents, they'll use this technology to make a lot of projects when they are about 10 years old. They can even go on television, like in Cameroon, George, 13 years old. He went on TV to explain his intruder alarm. And he explained that he went to the Polytechnic University in Cameroon, and the professors there and the students just couldn't believe that he could complete a project with 6 lines of code. Well, when something new comes along, you can do that. So I think that is the summation of what Miro will demonstrate today, is to prove to everybody that your children will have this competitive advantage, which is time dependent. If you leave it for too long, like 12 months time, when you tell the American professor, they already have the experience already. America is different. America have all the resource in terms of equipment like laptops, in terms of money, they can buy equipment. But the only lack of one technology at the moment is Runlinc. So they will be very fast to grab this and run and call themselves the Usain Bolt. Yeah, they will be the first runner in the world. But at the moment, they told us they don't have technologies like that. So it is up to Malaysia, the IPGs of Malaysia, the PGSM of Malaysia, which I understand, obviously, we're working together with everybody here in order to really put the footprint there that we are number one. And obviously getting all the big tech and the big four to support this case. Then you will be able to get maybe even Malaysian curriculum exported. And this is huge. This is trillion dollars of education business. You call it a business now. Look at all the universities that attract students from all over the world to make money, including Australia. When the COVID came, we have a lockdown. We lost billions and billions of dollars, and we lost professors by the hundreds. They lost their jobs literally overnight because we don't have the income. We're dependent on so much of this to make the money of international student money that we have to replace with startups making money by teaching them how to make products. So I think as we go along, there will be Q&A. And please feel free to ask questions anytime. I'll leave the time for Miro to show what I've just described as the competitive advantage of a few lines of code to make an intruder alarm that will send a drone, activate a security drone that you can control from Malaysia to take a picture of the intruder in Australia. Thank you very much. And Miro, if you're ready, or I hand it back to Ravi.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Pang, for your wonderful introduction to the Stem Cell Foundation. All right. So without further delay, we invite Dr. Miro to explain and demo your technology to our beloved teachers and lecturers. Miro?
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Ravi, and thank you, Dr. Peng as well for that wonderful introduction too. That's very good. I have actually also been, I suppose, in Malaysia with this technology for a while now, and we have had some excellent feedback about this technology, and especially when I do the demonstration, because it actually shows how easy it is to implement and actually do the Internet of Things and the artificial intelligence for the students and the teachers. Sometimes these technologies have been said to be very necessary, which everybody is saying, but if it's too difficult for the teachers, then it becomes a wall and a stumbling block, because they try and then they fail. And also when students try also and they fail and they find it difficult, then they also want to do something else. They don't want to do the STEM. The idea is that we want to attract them to the STEM. We want them to do more of the STEM, AI and IoT. So today what I will be doing is actually demonstrating a real live case of building a project online, actually in Malaysia. So I have selected a teacher, which I have been working with, Mr. Lee in Penang, who will actually open my page today. And he will then actually build a small intruder alarm today. So that you will be able to see that it only takes one line of code to do the camera, 2 lines of code to make buttons, to make alarm on-off buttons on a web page, which is important, Internet of Things. And with 3 lines of code, artificial intelligence, text to voice. So this is only 6 lines of code to make such a project, which is easy for students to actually learn quickly as well. And then I will show how this technology can also connect to other things for IoT on the Wi-Fi, such as a drone. So there is a Wi-Fi drone that we will connect again today. So before I do that, I note that this session time is 2 hours. Is that correct, Mr. Ravi, or is it less than that?
Yeah, it's correct, Dr. Miro.
Okay, that's all right. So what I want to do is just quickly present this 1 line, 2 lines on a PowerPoint which I have set up. So let me see if I can share. I'll share the screen. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, very good. So the technology is called Runlinc because it actually is able to link to so many things. And as I said before, with just 1 line of code, we can create vision on a web page. So for example, from the telephone, we can then create the vision onto a laptop, and there is a document on how to do this easily. What's important is that compatible technologies actually take 100 lines of code or more. It actually takes a lot of lines of code to do this. Also, with 2 lines of code, we can control anything, anywhere. Internet of Things means that we need to control on, off. Okay, and with 3 lines of code, we're going to include artificial intelligence, voice as well. The technology is able to actually do even more, because of course we need to do data sensing, we need to do data logging, and then control IoT and AI. So the sensing and the data logging are also included. what's important to note is that, like I said, other technologies, it seems to be very tedious and complex, which means that even for university students and engineers, they find it difficult. But for teachers and students, it's like asking the student to climb the stairs on a very, very tall building, very, very difficult. And this is even before they start to do any IoT or AI. Whereas the Runlinc, we see even from 9 years and upward, it is like taking the lift. So there's technologies such as Arduino, which have proved to be very difficult compared to Runlinc. And we have professors also, and there was a professor also in even in Bhutan who actually wrote a paper about this. So Runlinc versus the compatible technologies. He wrote a research paper which was blind reviewed and accepted for IEEE conference. And the conclusion is that Runlinc is much more effective and user-friendly, but also much shorter time to implement, especially for starting year 9 and upward. This is important that they can get started, okay, and also that they can continue, whereas the other technologies become very complex very quickly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually demonstrate the technology, and then we can discuss further the implications of this and how students can then use their creativity as well. So my Runlinc controller here is in Adelaide in Australia, but I'm inviting Mr. Lee, who's a teacher in Penang, to actually open the page. So let me check if Mr. Lee has the page open. Mr. Lee, if you have the page open, can you please share the page as well so that we can see this web page, which is, I will describe further. Okay, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Lee, for helping today. By the way, Mr. Lee also has a group of students which has been doing the Runlinc and have been progressing quite well too. So maybe we can hear some feedback later. This web page here, sorry, Peng, did you want to say something? Okay, so this web page here, I'll just move my camera so you understand about this Runlinc web page. The web page is actually inside my Wi-Fi chip here in Australia. So there is a chip here on the top with a little red dot, and the web page is actually being hosted inside this chip. So anyone can open it locally on the network or also across the internet. I've made it available so that it becomes a window into this controller. Okay, we've seen many controllers for STEM, and of course we have wires such as the blue one, which we can connect to the relay box, which can turn on and off the lamp as well. Okay, and this is connected to port C4. Okay, port C4. So, Mr. Lee, if you can go down to C4 and make it a digital out. So these are the controls that we see. And straight away you see an off, a red off. That means that there is a signal here on my controller, but it is off. So when the signal is on, then it will switch the magnetic switch, relay box, and also the lamp. So Mr. Lee, you can test that simply by pressing that red button. So if you click it there, okay, you see my lamp is open here in Australia. So the web page is not here in Australia. The web page you see, I'm not sharing that. It actually is being presented by Mr. Lee, who is in Penang at the moment. Okay, so we can turn on and off across the internet very quickly. You can see and test quickly. This can be also a pump, or it can be a fan. It can be many things. So next to C4, Mr. Lee, can you please type in the word lamp, L-A-M-P, and this is so that we can also get the students to make it automatic for the intruder alarm. So for the intruder alarm, we will also be using a sensor. This is a light sensor. It is connected to C7. So Mr. Lee, can you select C7? As a analog in to measure the voltage. Okay, we have voltage going in. So when I cover this, then on Mr. Lee's web page, then the number goes down, and when I uncover it, it goes up. So this can measure the light, turn the voltage into a digital number, digital computer, and then it will actually show the level immediately on there as well. This can be a temperature sensor. It can be also can be a pH sensor, a soil moisture sensor, many types of sensors. So Mr. Lee, just on C7, if you can please type in the word sensor, then that will be important. Okay, sensor, excellent. Okay, so what I'll do is I will also now show how we can use the lamp and the sensor, and open my page here. I have a copy of the page over here as well. Okay, and let me do that. I will share my tab. Okay, so you can see here I have a tab, and we have a lamp here, and this is my page in Australia, but this is just to show you what we can do. So then we can actually create some simple code for the alarm and we want to measure the sensor, and then check if the sensor is under a certain level, say 120. So if an intruder covers the sensor, the number becomes less than 120, then we can simply select turn on and lamp. This is normal JavaScript. JavaScript is the language which is native to the internet, so it is very, very good for IoT because all the browsers will understand this immediately. So teachers and students do not need to install any software. They can use the browser immediately, which they can, the Runlinc will run immediately as well. Okay, so if it's uncovered, then it will turn off. So I'll copy this, and then I will actually give this to Mr. Lee, and I will put that actually on the chat box for Mr. Lee to paste in.
See you.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I was muted. All right. So, Mr. Lee, if you can go to the top, okay, and just press the Run Code button. Okay, and I will show you the lamp again. And if you scroll down, Mr. Lee, so we can see the numbers. Okay, when I cover the sensor, then you see the number actually goes down. When it goes less than 120, then my lamp turns on automatically. Let me adjust my camera. When I uncover it, it turns off, and Mr. Lee's webpage, it says off. The number is above 120. When I cover it, then it is on. Okay, so this is a sensor, such as for an intruder alarm. But like I said, this could be a water sensor turning on a pump, could be a temperature sensor turning on a fan. So it means that the students can start very easily. What I will do is actually show next how we can also connect also to make a web page with buttons. Okay. I actually, all right. So I'll share my page again, but in fact, before I do that, I might just ask Dr. Peng just to say a few words, because I just need to step out for a minute as well before I share that page.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
So I think maybe this is a chance for, I think, how many of us? 37 now. Mr. Ravi, these numbers, I hope, will not increase to 370.
There's some more in
popular.
there.
So maybe this is a chance to get a quick question in from teachers, if any. Any questions at all that you can throw at us, we'll try to answer that. I think this will unleash a lot of creativity, a lot of sparks for discussion. Any questions, please? Any questions at all that you can throw at us, we'll try to answer that. I think this will unleash. Sorry, is there a question there? I can't hear properly. So if not, I will just try to clarify a little bit. Sorry, is there a question? Okay. So what we're seeing here, just to make clear, is that the drone will be controlled from Malaysia. The drone is actually in Adelaide. And so you are actually changing the program inside the Wi-Fi chip in Australia from Malaysia. So imagine the capability of this technology from anywhere in the world. In a case like this, we could have 100 students from all over the world with teachers from Malaysia teaching them. So also imagine, after what you've seen, Miro and Mr. Lee has shown you, imagine there is, I don't know, 100 drone demonstration per day from Malaysia. How would that change the branding of Malaysia in terms of its capability in IoT, STEM, AI education? You know, so it is just that sort of lateral thinking that is going to attract a lot of attention. First up, yeah, if you can get the big tech like Google, like Intel, like Microsoft to sponsor, which is not a lot of money for 100 drones, and then with 100 schools doing demonstration every day for maybe a specified period of 3 months. How would that change the perspective of Malaysia's learning capability of their students? And of course, the drone demonstration, you invite students from different countries, from Africa, from Europe, from ASEAN, from India, to control the drones. So I just leave that thought for you in order to try to solve all these difficult problems of what Datuk Noraini has already impressed, that there is a decline in interest in STEM, which is going to obviously create a huge problem for any economy that want to develop, because this is it. This is the space that will create the jobs, the Internet of Things. And you have now the competitive advantage that Miro is showing you right now of doing something that the others cannot do. Thank you. Miro, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Dr. Peng. Very good. So this type of control that we've shown so far, many controllers can do this, even though other controllers could, of course, be more difficult. Notice that I did not have to send any code into the chip or anything. We can simply run code, but we can also see the sensors too. Now, the next step of the intruder alarm is to put it as Internet of Things to make a web page as well. So I will share also my screen for this web page to show you. So this is again my copy of the screen. It's not connected, but we have a box which is the HTML. HTML is actually what creates a display. It is what, when you see your browser, it is the code behind the browser, such as this line here I've put is the title on the top, the text, alarm control web page, and H1 is a heading, one is large. Then on the web page we will make a button. So you can see simply that we have a code which says button, and then when we click the button on click, then it equals turn on a buzzer, and on the top we have alarm on. Alarm on will be at the top. Okay, also if I want an off button, I would simply copy this and place it here. One of the important aspects of this compared to other technologies is that because it only takes 2 lines of code to create on and off button, we don't need to import libraries. We're not asking the students to actually just copy something they do not understand. We can actually step through very easily, and then they can be productive and see some results very quickly as well, which gives them confidence quickly too. So let's see how this works. I'm going to also copy this and then paste it so that Mr. Lee can put it onto the web page to put it onto the chip and the Runlinc.
Mr. Miro, there is one question here from our lecturer. I read out the question, yeah?
Yes.
Apart from using Runlinc to control things remotely, what else can it do? Can it be, can it be used to create computerized adaptive testing? It is in the chat box.
I guess the short answer is yes, and how it can be done used to do that is because JavaScript is actually quite a good, complete, complex language which can use mathematical formulas, graphs. I've seen students even do simulations on their web page with moving graphs, for example. And even today, you'll be able to see with the drone that we can also get a graph of the height of the drone in real time as well with this technology as well, and also have the camera in real time. This is actually happening right now, not even a simulation. So it can happen immediately across the internet for other people to see. But also we can write simulations in here as well. One of the good things, because it is a control and IoT technology, then with the sensors and with the control, we can very quickly do real things. Okay, they can build to the real things. Okay.
Can I just quickly also mention? I see the question here from Mr. Ko, is it? And also bear in mind, please, for everybody, that this technology doesn't need internet either. Today, we just demonstrate to you that you can use internet to control anything, anywhere in the world that are internet linked. But if you don't have internet, you can use your local Wi-Fi, just as good. So this same demonstration, you can do it locally within your school without internet. So some remote schools or houses don't have internet, so they use the Wi-Fi, the local Wi-Fi to do that.
Yes. So just looking at who's that? Ko Chung's question again. The adaptive testing, for example, of course, IoT can be used to do things like measuring water quality and measuring soil quality, or the pH level of a biogas monitor, which this Runlinc is already doing, and the salinity, etc. as well. So that type of testing and assessment can be done and also put in a graph and then logged and shown. Okay, Mr. Lee has opened his page again, which is good, and he has pressed the stop code and run code to rerun it. But Mr. Lee, in the code it actually says turn on, turn off buzzer. So you have to also open the port C5 because the buzzer is connected to C5. So we need to select also and make sure that's connected to our code. So go to C5 and make it a digital out also, like the lamp, but it is a buzzer. So you need to type in the word buzzer in lowercase and then press the stop code and run code. Okay, so even though my controller is here in Australia, Mr. Lee is actually doing the controlling and making the web page. When we go down, we see a preview of the web page. So this is connected to the Runlinc as a preview, but the web page can also be made separately, and also we can get a link very quickly, which many of Mr. Lee's students are doing at the moment. So Mr. Lee, if you actually press the alarm on button on that web page, will it turn on my alarm? I have a buzzer connected to C5. So if you click that, okay, can everyone hear that? Okay, I'll move my camera. There is actually a buzzer here on the table connected to C5. It's very loud. So press the alarm off. Press the alarm off button on the web page. Okay, very good. I wanted to show you just this little bit, just to show you how the Runlinc works with the various boxes. But of course, we would carry on with more workshops. What I do want to show you is a more complex display to add to our intruder alarm. And that is so when the intruder comes, we want this artificial intelligence drone to be sent by the Runlinc. It can also connect to the network. So the Runlinc can have many things on the network which can be all together in the same project. At the moment, I have a sensor, I have a lamp connected using wires, but because it is also a Wi-Fi technology, this Wi-Fi drone can connect to it. Also other Wi-Fi devices such as the phone. So for example, we could include the camera from the phone in our project, or we can include other things also on the internet. So this is a true Internet of Things technology. Let's see how that works. I'm going to turn on my drone. Okay, and put her on the ground. I will show you the camera. Mr. Lee, can you please go up and press the stop code? And Mr. Lee, can you then go and press the get button? Okay, near that stop code, there's a get button. That one, yes. So press that one. And okay, the code is not in this chip. I had difficulty with my other chip, so the code is not in this chip. All right, I'm going to have to load the code into that chip as well. So there might be a few minutes delay for that too. Peng, what I could do is I could present the creativity graph if you want to go through that while I just get the code also for the drone as well. Thank you.
Yeah, so the soft skills that come to this STEM project, creativity plays actually as important as the STEM. because creativity, we know is equal to imagination and ideas plus other things, but these are the two main things. And so with creativity, the research by NASA basically says that by 10 years old, the creativity has declined to about 30%. So by the time the student is 15 years old, it's about 10-12%. By the time they're in uni at about 20 years old, it's about 2%. So you can see it dropped down from the 3 points. It's an exponential decline graph. That makes it difficult for students as they progress towards their education journey to have these extra sort of ideas and imagination according to the research. Whereas using Runlinc at the early age, you then maximize their creativity. Let's say they start from about, as I said, 10 years old, you still have about 30% of creativity. And it's very apparent, you can see that, because the tools is in their hand. Young students, they just think of something, they want to do it, and they will do it. For the adults, it's almost like you wish for something, your wish will come true using this technology. So creativity links to obviously problem solving. So we started this journey by saying what today's workshop, problem-based learning, PBL. Yeah. And so then we use creativity to combine with the problem that we set for them, and then they will start solving the problem, especially with social impact. So that allows the other soft skills to come in, like you have communication, you have team building, you have leadership, yeah, you have the critical thinking, you obviously have entrepreneurship, all holistically combined together. So the kids are capable of this. From about 10 years old, you give them 1 year, the extra curriculum sort of 100 hours, they will be able to demonstrate to you what the NASA graph of creativity is correct. And so is there a graph that you wanted to share or what just now?
Yes, I'll share the graph. I just need to use my screen for something else first. Sorry.
Okay. But that's what this famous NASA research has shown. They researched with hundreds of thousands of people in the early 60s, and in order to recruit the best for NASA, you see. And so this graph is something that, rule of thumb, you just have to see if they decline so fast, how do you use a technology like from university, like Arduino, like Raspberry Pi, in order to get to ignite their interest quickly. One student in Sudan, a 15-year-old girl called Onap, she won the prize in the Arab World Innovation Competition. And I said, what did you do? She said she used block programming. I said, what do you think of it? She said, it's like monkey see, monkey do. I can't do anything more than that. When they say connect the block together, the light turns up, the switch open, that's what I do. But I cannot do more than that because all those blocks are embedded with codes that she cannot use. They did that in order to avoid them getting scared by it, because there are hundreds of lines within her block there. So with these JavaScript few lines that you're seeing now, they are very comfortable. They can change anything they want. So they have full control of the design. And so that is a lot of time wasting if you start measuring the economics of it. And this is not just Arab countries. The whole world is based on that at the moment, because they don't have the access to a technology that we can now put into blocks too. But the blocks that we have actually has text along it. And Miro can explain that a little bit more later. If they want blocks, we'll give them blocks. But those blocks are actually industry strength programming, not those embedded blocks that have hundreds of lines of code inside in order to make it simple for the kids to ignite their interest on it, not actually real learning. That's our lesson from Sudan. So you ready to carry on?
Okay. Yes, I think so. All right. Should I present that graph just quickly so everyone
Just quickly, yeah,
understands the
if you have
graph?
it. Yeah.
Sure.
So seeing is believing.
Okay. You can see the graph.
Yeah, it's coming up. So as you see here, the red graph there, 10 years old is about 30% left. 15 years old from 3, like all these students that we are teaching, they're beginning to see that their creativity, obviously they don't realize it because they can't measure it, right? But this is what has been researched. It's only 12% left. Creativity is being blocked because of so many reasons of everything is fighting for priority. You know, then you don't have time to even think or solve problem already. So it become a sense of memorization. As in India, they told us 95% of the courses that they go through in schools as well as in uni is memorization in order to get a degree, and end up with millions of people without jobs there. But this is changing now. We have a stem cell student, 2016. We just got in contact with him again last week, and he just won $1 million US to put technology for robotics and things like that into schools, to 200 schools. So you can see the opportunity exists now, and more of these case studies coming out, but you don't want to be the one, number 2. It's as competitive that you want your students to be right in the front line, and they can do it.
Okay, thank you, Peng. So, Mr. Lee, can you share your screen again? And while you're doing that, I'll just also make sure my drone is connected. Okay, very good. So can you just press that get button again? Okay, the Wi-Fi chip, the Runlinc Wi-Fi chip can also contain code, so we can also send project code into the chip itself, which makes it convenient because then other people can also get the code. This makes it easy also for teaching if we need to help a student in this regard. The code that I have sent also has many buttons similar to what we made, just one line to make a button, but it has control buttons for a drone. It also has one line of code for the camera, and it also has a graph. So Mr. Lee, please press the run code again, and then we'll go down and we can see the Runlinc drone picture of the page, and we see many buttons. Mr. Lee, if you can turn your sound up also, because we also have the 3 lines of code to do text to voice. So please press the start commands, which tells the drone that we wish to send it some commands from the Runlinc. Okay. Looks like the drone is already gone up actually, so okay. Just press the land button again. Just press the land button. Okay, just press the land button. Okay, I can't see your cursor on there. Did we hear any voice just then?
No. I
Okay.
couldn't hear the voice. So you need to share the voice.
Okay. So just press the start commands again, just the start
Drone
command.
command.
Okay, that's good. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so we sent the drone up and across just now, so you can see some video from the drone already, and that there is a height graph. But we can also get data from the drone. Mr. Lee, if you can press the battery percentage. Can you press the battery percentage on the top right?
Drone get battery.
So we can see that 83% battery, and even the temperature. There are sensors inside the drone. So press the temp degrees C, the temp button.
Drone get temp.
Okay, and looks like it's 83 degrees, which is about right. There's 14 processors in this AI drone. Okay, and I will show the camera this time so you can see the drone as well. And so, Mr. Lee, just try that again. Just do the takeoff, just so we can see the drone.
Drone
Okay,
command.
Press the takeoff button. Just press
Drone
it
takeoff.
once. Okay, and then press the up button, and you'll be able to see that it then goes up on the graph. Up.
Drone up 20.
Yep.
Okay, that's good. All right, very good. And we can turn it. So press the turn CW.
Drone CW90.
Okay, so you can see it turning. Press it once more, and in fact, the camera will be turned then towards the poster. So
Drone
turn.
CW90.
Okay, very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Mr. Lee also whether he can do more complex tasks. The Runlinc is going to ask the drone to do a flip. So Mr. Lee, do a flip forward, okay, on the top right. Flip
Drone
forward.
flip F.
Okay, you can see it's much closer now, very close. Do a flip back. It's going too close to me.
Drone flip B.
Okay, that's better. Okay, very good. Okay, that's very good driving, and you can see the drone is up a bit higher. Let me see if I can get my camera on the drone. Very good. So, Mr. Lee, press the land button. Land.
Drone land.
Okay, very good. So we can see that we can measure the sensor. There is actually a sensor underneath here for infrared sensor for the height, and also a camera for stability. And that is how we're getting the height graph. Okay, in fact, you can see when I pick this up, then the sensor is actually still responding and working on the drone on that height graph as well. And actually, so is the camera, I think, too. All right. So what I will do next is just to show that in the code, we also have, it says less than 80 for the intruder. So when it senses the intruder, then it will do the text to voice to say that there is an intruder has come. And so alert intruder, sending security drone, and then the drone will be sent to go up and then go around and take camera video to send to the police. Okay, so let me see if I can do that now as well. So I'm going to block the sensor. Okay. All right. Not sure if the start commands is. Just try the start commands again. Make sure the start commands is working. Okay, did you press the start commands?
Drone command.
Okay, all right. So if the sensor then goes less than 80, okay, then the drone will be sent. Let's just also take a look at the sensor at the top. The sensor, okay, looks okay. So you can see the code is actually in the JavaScript loop in this case. It says disabled, so can you just make sure that's analog in?
Intruder has gone. All safe. Drone land.
Okay, so now it has a sensor. Then you can see the AI voices can sense that there's no intruder. Okay. Also, can you do digital out on the lamp, just so that it can activate the lamp as well when the intruder comes? All right, good. So when the intruder comes then over here to activate the lamp.
Alert intruder detected sending security drone. Drone takeoff. Drone up 50. Drone CW360. Drone CCW360.
Okay, so now the intruder is scared because the drone has been taking your pictures to send to the police. So then the intruder will leave.
Intruder has gone. All safe. Drone land.
Okay, and so Mr. Lee, if you go down, you can also see there is a graph and camera as well that's been taken. So you can see the drone went up when there was an intruder. There is a delay on the camera at the moment across the internet for that. But that is an example also of what the students can do for this drone intruder alarm project. This is important, though, to understand that although this is a very exciting project, this is one example of many projects that the students can do. Okay, many exciting projects. I've seen students very excited that they can also use their phone camera to do many interesting projects for intruders. Some students have also done AI object recognition. So when they hold up, for example, their mouse in front of their camera, then the Runlinc can also make it speak and say this is a mouse, for example. Or when they tilt their phone, Wi-Fi connected, then it can drive their robot using the Runlinc as well. So there are many applications too. Okay. All right, so we see the potential and we can see how easy it is also to get started. So this is why I'm doing this, to show you how the Runlinc actually works as an introduction. And we have many projects documented as to how to do this step by step. Okay, what I would like to do is ask if there's any comments or questions on this at the moment. Thank you, Mr. Lee, for sharing your page over there as well. Any questions or comments on what I have shown at the moment? Okay.
Maybe we can ask some questions to get the Q&A going. What you have seen here, I mean, is two sections. One is the intruder alarm that Miro has shown with 6 lines of code. Yeah. I mean, basically, the 6 lines consist of 1 line to create that vision between the laptop and the drone camera. 2 lines, you will be able to make a web page with on-off buttons to scare off the intruder, to on the drone to take a video, or to on the sound, the buzzer. And 3 lines, you can convert the text into artificial intelligence voice in order to again scare off the intruder. Do you think that your students will be able to manage that in primary school, like about 10, 11 years old? A question for all teachers.
Can respond in the chat column as well.
Yeah, in chat, or we can have a live chat too. So
maybe just to get some teachers talking, could we maybe just ask Mr. Lee, maybe just to have a few comments on the feedback from his students, because his students have been using the Runlinc a couple of times as well, and recently they've been doing some web pages. So maybe we can ask Mr. Lee just to say a few words on what they've been able to do and their response and engagement, I suppose, with this too.
Okay, hello, good evening. I'm Lee from Penang. So I'm currently teaching in SMK Georgetown. So the feedback that I've got from my students is it's easy, easier than Python, which they are learning in school right now.
Okay,
in
and
fact,
what have they been able to
maybe,
make so far, Mr. Lee?
Yeah, if I can, maybe I add a little bit to what Mr. Lee has said. I suppose most teachers here know PGSM. Yeah, PGSM, the STEM Teacher Association of Malaysia. I think they call it what? Persatuan Guru STEM Malaysia, right? PGSM. I think there are about 1,000 plus teachers in that group. And President Suhaili, Cikgu Suhaili's son is not well. And so then the students that learn about building the website using Runlinc, as you see already, Runlinc needs only about 2 lines of code to make a web page. If you have multiple web pages, then you link it together to make a website, like a book with 5 chapters, right? So the students under Mr. Lee's guidance and mirror, I think some of them suggested to make a website called Get Well Soon. You know, so they could include in the Get Well Soon some of this jingle, for instance, how you get well. You know, just to encourage a young boy who is not well at the moment, and with a lot of creative ideas, they could include jingles, you know, the Get Well jingle sort of thing. And maybe even invite him to fly a drone from the hospital. So these are the sort of things that bond people together. It gives you the chance to unleash the creativity. Yeah, these are suggested by the students themselves. I was in the workshop when they were learning how to make a website. Project A2. Is that A2? Sorry, Project A2 helped them to make a web page with 2 buttons. And Project A6, then they could include the AI voice synthesis. So they can combine these 7 projects that you don't need the equipment, that I think it would be nice to send to all the teachers. I'm not sure, maybe from one school, Telok Intan, is it? In the school, from Mr. Vilu's school.
St. Anthony.
Pardon?
St. Anthony schools, Doctor, you mean?
Yeah, either, I mean, I can see 32 people here. And if we can give them a chance to experience, send it out, it's free. You only need a laptop and a mobile phone to do these 7 projects. So that will give them some sense of what we have witnessed today, and that they can use that to build even a website that express what they want to do next time. It's like a CV, their own personal website. And generally, to make a website is not easy, to learn all this HTML and things like that. But we have built the engine for them to put all the bells and whistles into the engine to make a website of their choice.
So they can make the website even before they have the Runlinc. So they can already do AI voice and many of the things even before they get the kit. So they can try that as well. I see also a teacher has commented that Scratch is a fundamental coding on there as well. And Scratch is using the blocks, but the difference here is also that with the JavaScript, it is actually used by 70% of the professional programmers in the world. So it is actually a skill which students can then progress to as well. So we will also put in similar block programming into this Runlinc as well, which actually looks like Scratch, but it can actually create JavaScript, and they'll be able to see how to match it to the JavaScript as well. But the skills is actually very important. So it's important that what they use is the skills, and they learn the things that they will be able to learn. In the past, this has been too difficult, and universities have had to do it. One university student that had a final year project to put 2 buttons on a web page, make a web page and control things with buttons, said that it took him about, was it 5 months, 3 months, many months. Whereas you can see that this only takes hours instead of months to do this. Today, we have even shown that once we know how, we can do it within even a few minutes. And it's only 2 lines of code. So when he saw this, his face changed and he said, "Eureka, I found something." And he went and told all the schools from the university. So he saw that it was very different.
In fact, there's a real example from UPM, right? He's an agri-science student. He's not a programmer, not in engineering at all. And so he has a hydroponic smart farm project in the nursery, which is quite far from his classroom. So every day he has to go and turn on and off the light. During the daytime, he turn it off. During the nighttime, he turn it on, so that you have photosynthesis with the light, right? And so he was struggling for weeks until he nearly gave up. And teacher told us most of the project never finished, which is real shame, because they asked their friends from engineering using Arduino, please help. And so for weeks, he couldn't finish it. When teacher introduced Amirin, I think his name is, he spent 3 hours, he finished it. He go and pick up the kid all the way from UPM. He drove down on a bike on a rainy day, he said, to Klang. It just happened at that time. This is about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when a student from Adelaide, our intern, went home with the kid, you see. But he lives in Klang. So this boy drove a motorcycle, ride a motorbike all the way there to pick up the kid. In 3 hours, he finished the project. That's something memorable that it's hard to forget things like that. So he's found a job. He's working now. He's coming back to mentor another 15 students from UPM, I think in the next week or two. That we are working with UPM in the economics center, not even engineering. Because this economics professor was asked by the previous Minister of Education to solve the problem of graduate employability, GE. And I think there's a few 100,000 of graduates not employed, like 300,000-400,000. I said, how are you going to solve the problem? She said, we teach them soft skills. We teach them how to solve problem. I said, the problem is they don't have a job. So how do you teach them how to solve a problem with critical thinking and marketing and things like that? They're waiting for a job already. Don't you use STEM? No, you know already we're from the economics department. She got huge funding, few $100,000, in order to help the minister to develop case study to solve that problem of graduate employability. And a lot of these graduates actually come from overseas, from Australia too, from America, from UK, come home, of course, the local too. Add up after so many years, graduating students already. So I think there will be about 15 of them, final year. And some of them really.
Just on the side, I've also put in a link to a web page made by Runlinc, which is showed that to make every house a smart home, to implement the 5 UN SDGs. So this actual web page was actually made using Runlinc. we'll send you obviously more links. The other link I've put in there is a Malaysian Minister for Housing then as well.
Every house a smart home, especially during COVID-19, during her electorate, the students cannot go to school. So they a chance to, I suppose, which is a fantastic project. And obviously, being a woman, she's very, very interested in gender equality. And so we are linking her to ministers in Australia. So in Sarawak, Ravi,
for our IPG, we have successfully used drone as one of 7 difficulties. What is happening now is the online class, you know. So what he did was the editing of the videos, you know, and they compiled the whole video captured from the drone, and they use the virtual reality box, and they also combined with the Google Street, you know. This is how important and attractive, and it attracts 52% of the students, you know, the students to attend the class and complete the project entirely. Amazing. Yeah. So they use what they call to the national parks, you know, especially in Singapore.
And I have no doubt what you've seen today. That's why I asked the question, do you feel comfortable that your students will be able to put their hands onto these facilitate and let them through? We are like a barrier. We leave the barrier, they'll run through, man. And I've seen it all over the world, 12 countries, and increasing very quickly. I think in October, we'll be doing a drone demonstration with a university in Philadelphia, America. They bought 10 drones, and they bought all the kids. And as I said, America have the resource and the capability, except the technology resource is not there. So this is the chance that we will be able to work with IPG, Batu Lintang, and show the American Teacher Association. It is actually a teachers association we'll be showing the drone to. You know, Miro is invited through this professor to demonstrate to the Physics Association teachers. And then, of course, they have STEM and so forth. There's so many. There are billions of dollars worth of funding there. But they don't have your story at the moment. They don't have this story of IPG, Batu Lintang. So if you have that plantation sort of thing, you know, with whatever, pepper, cocoa, timber, palm oil, oil palm, let us know. Get your students there. Those students will specialize to become a teacher next time of agriculture. Yeah, because I think you already have a group of students like this. And I think Cikgu Suhaili is also trying to source them so that we can build case studies for them quickly. And off they go, start looking for work. Connect them to all the VIPs, from big tech to big ministers, all over the world, not necessarily in Malaysia. Suddenly, there is borderless now. I mean, this professor in America would want to pick the brains of these Malaysian kids. They don't even have to go to US to study. What for you go there? They don't have the technology that you guys have in Malaysia. Keep the money in Malaysia. And this is talking about billions of dollars. You know? And so there's a lot of economics in this project, more and more so. And students are building websites called, in Sudan, they call it Runlinc, PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is a finance company, one of the big four, STEM Economy Challenge. They are not going to wait now. These are winners. These are young inventors that have won prizes. So they are very hungry to go ahead. Within 1 week, we train them with the basic 7 projects. They haven't got the kids yet. It's on the way from Malaysia. We have kids in Malaysia sent to Sudan. And now they're building websites ready to engage PwC now. They will never need to finish the project. PwC will be at the doorstep. Because it is just shocking to PwC that kids can think like that, even though we think for them, but they have to articulate it out themselves and solve the problem of the giant company. Not solving their own problem or my problem. The problem comes from PwC because they are the one who wrote the STEM economy, report that says if you shift 1% of Malaysia's workforce into STEM jobs, let's say about, don't know, 15 million people work in Malaysia. 1% only, 150,000 quality STEM jobs, especially the application part of it. Go and work out how much would Malaysia's economy increase. In Australia's case, we shift 1%, let's say it's about 100,000 workers. They predict $57 billion Australian per year. So a young kid, 15 years old, 14 years old, 13 years old, can articulate that with PwC Penang, where Mr. Lee is, or PwC KL, or KK, or Kuching. They will come to your doorstep. They will start funding you. Like I said, 100 drones is nothing for them because they're going to make money out of this. Let's be real about this. I always hear all of us are struggling together to get equipment. They are going to make money. So why don't you put down the terms? If we help you with this technology, for you to globalize this, you arm every teacher in Malaysia with a stem cell chip and provide them with the drone so that they can fly your flag. Nobody is a loser. Everybody is a winner. From especially the parents' point of view, this project would de-stress them. Because look at all the things that we have experienced of no time because we're on the way, we're rushing, we're having our lunch in the car, going for that was SAS, St. Anthony School. We're on the way to our tuition, man. We're in the car talking to you. And we all the broken lines. That was before the COVID. Thanks to Dr. Selvaraj, a friend of Ravi. And I'm sure Satya too. Yeah. He's a real Elon Musk. He just wants to do things quickly. Yeah. So we pick on that and run with it. And now we have champions coming out of it from Telok Intan. So I hope that HM Vilo, you will be able to get your kids onto this quickly together with teachers from Kuching, from KL, from everywhere, because it's online. Anybody who's interested, like Mr. Lee, he's got a bunch of kids. The first time I hear was, look, they have to tell me the truth, you see. If this is hungry students, they have to tell me. If they are not interested, they have to tell me this is a very difficult environment school. End up, we got the students going, a few of them. So hopefully inspire more. So many of these stories, like CDW, Convent Butterworth School, yeah, they fundraised $30,000 for about 100 students' families because they lost their jobs or part-time job, not enough. Yeah, the kids are not even fed properly. 30,000 ringgit by the sponsors. So one student said, do we just let them take these bags of food home and that's it? We don't even say thank you to the sponsor. So the student said, why don't we make a website, a storytelling app using one of these 7 projects and say thank you. Not only thank you, we'll give back to the sponsors. Yeah, how do we give back? We teach your kids, the sponsors' kids, the projects that we have learned. How wonderful, heartwarming. But that is problem solving. That is what kids need to get them spark off like that. That will be in them forever. Because you change the course of their thinking already. One is just fundraise 30,000, take it home, and that's the end. But the students said, no, we use Runlinc to say thank you to the, to the sponsors and teach our kids Runlinc competitive advantage. So all the kids can go and win these competitions until they get a job. So it's complete. And it is just that narrative. It's just a short narrative of how do you apply a competitive advantage of a technology that can help you to get a job. And so if we follow those 3 steps between 10 years old and 20 years old, or whatever you adjust it to suit, I just give you a range. And then you got Malaysia's new education model. That every mother and father want to have this sort of model in order to save a lot of stress and time, running from one place to another. Of course, you have to comply to your curriculum. I know that. I was a student myself. But yet, the extra curriculum, it takes a fraction of the time. In fact, offset it with the game time. We call it Ada Asa Suda. Yeah. Ada is AI drug addiction, which is online activities, not necessarily games only. Yeah, you got cyberbullying, you got all the adult materials there. Every parents are watching whether they are doing the wrong thing. That is stress. So why not replace it with AI STEM addiction? Projects like this, with a simple model of them connecting to the world type of students in Sudan, in Cameroon, in Thailand, in Philippines, and off they go. What a wonderful pioneering Malaysian project. Thanks to IPG, BL, isn't it? Batu Lintang. I just found out, Ravi, that my mother-in-law actually went to St. Teresa in Kuching. that's your partner school, isn't it?
Yeah, Mr. Sri and my daughter also studied there.
Amazing, such an old school, must be 100 over years.
It's almost 127 years old.
There you are. Yeah, she said she went to that St. Teresa school.
It's the first school in mission school in Sarawak, in fact.
Amazing, the quality of students coming out from there. And then you have opposite them St. Joseph or something, isn't it?
Yes.
From when I was able to speak English, I heard about St. Joseph already.
Yeah, it's true.
It's amazing. So these are the sort of links that let us unleash our thinking, connect each other. Any ideas at all, just throw it, because you will just find that Runlinc will connect to it. Any ideas at all. And that is the challenge. We connect Runlinc to any ideas, whether it's science, whether it's arts, whether it's humanity. I have shown a few examples already. It can be done. And not just me. I'm just an idea person. The real practitioners should be the students. And they can do it. Not a shadow of a doubt. And one student, 15-year-old boy, he just won a scholarship to go from Sudan to Turkey. And he said he wants to be Elon Musk. I said, if you want to be Elon Musk, you start now, win the 3 competition. Wow, he take off like a rocket. See, they have their dreams already. I'm not putting any dreams into them, but I'm just helping them to realize the dream using this competitive advantage. I'm sure Elon Musk will even take him to space if he's that brave. Because Elon Musk need to have many other Elon Musk in order to help him to achieve his dream. He can't make it to Mars without help. Too much money. He's money hungry. Without that sort of time constraint, short time, how would he beat NASA to get a few $1 billion? He is a typical entrepreneur that is willing to take risks. NASA cannot take the sort of risk and have rockets that's blown up. But it's his own money. So he was able to prove that my rocket can be reused. And that is his competitive advantage. And people are saying that your rocket will not land on moon. It's not smooth. It came out on TV just a few days ago. But by then, it's too late for Amazon to sue him or sue NASA already for not using their rockets. So these are the sort of life things that kids could be talking about, whether they're 16 or 17 years old. And yet they could be part of the solution. We take anything that is on TV, on radio, or we talk about and connect it to Runlinc and connect it to all these conversations, which is fun. You couldn't have a better, I'll conclude it here. I said, you want to impress Elon Musk, you do this. Or as a website, a challenge to prove to Elon Musk that you're worth it. Help the poor to make the rich richer with a Runlinc QR code. Poor men will not have time to study, but you can help the poor man to have a QR code and let the poor man give it to the rich man who have a house and a car. Because the poor man is earning only about 50 cents per day in India. So a rich man with a car and a house is a super rich man relative to the poor man there. So when the rich man have the QR code and scan it in, he said, voila, I see the competitive advantage. Win 3 competitions, my kids can. I am sure, according to the holy books, the more he gives, the more you get. According to all holy books. And that is my challenge. to prove that it is correct. It is already way proven beyond any doubt. The holy books are correct. The more you give, the more you get. The more this man receive, he will give back to the poor man. So that is one of the reasons why I work with Dr. Yunus from Bangladesh in order to create a 3-0. You can incorporate that to your students' website. 0 unemployment, using this competitive advantage, technology competitive advantage, and then 0 poverty. Once you have a job, your poverty go away. And then the most important one is a 0 net carbon emission. So on books like that, that's why we invited him to come to Australia at a cost of about 100,000 ringgit. But all community money. I just get the idea of Yunus coming here, and everybody stop and say, "Heng, you don't have to do anything. I'll shut down my office, and I'll put on about 7 staff for you. You just go and talk to Yunus. The rest, logistic, we'll organize." So these are the sort of things that I have been through. Why not get the kids to go through it? You see? Lots of example. I'm sure everybody heard about Colombo Plan. This boy win the new Colombo Plan scholarship, 67,000 Aussie dollars. And that is the minister, foreign minister. And he's our intern, starting from first year. And that's the governor on the other side, Hugh Grano. 6 months before he graduated, he got 2 banks offering him AI jobs in the banks. What did we do? Not much. We just helped him to bring 10 million of Chinese students' money to Australia. And he proved it. Everybody signed a letter for him. 5 letters from ministers as well as Lord Mayor of the City Council and top directors of businesses. So how could he not get a job or at least a 3-month trial? So a lot of these are very practical Runlinc projects, you know, because it's more fun, more engaging to have winners like that you can multiply. And I'm sure in Malaysia, you get plenty of this. And these then become ministers to ministers. If you have friends in Penang, fortunately, we are a sister state to Penang, South Australia government. They are going to celebrate the 50 years. And of course, we have consuls like Datuk, whatever his name is, Philip Ting in Kuching. He's been our honorary consul for 25 years, one of the longest. And I think it's him that helped to build up this Swinburne University in Kuching, right? It's on his CV. So again, he would be able to take this project and hopefully give you some sponsorship and get the students mobilized through training the IPG teachers, helping them, which I'm sure you started already. But with this, you can have a proper, a proper system set up, which we have here in Australia, now starting in Bhutan already, and the USA too. University School Formal Mentoring Program. We call it RAST, R-A-S-T, Runlinc, Artificial Intelligence Skills Transfer. So once you have structure like this, the big techs and the big 4 will come and support it. We never need to finish the project. You just need to start off with the idea and prove it. At least prove some part of the concept. The rest, because they are there to make money. They have competition between the big techs, like Google advertise here on TV now. They want to sell their Google Chrome laptops. And of course, you have Surface from Microsoft. And then you have Apple too. So because of these students have their own case studies, then we will match them up with these big techs and use them as interns so that they can get jobs. And it's not just Malaysia, it's global. It's no longer just a Malaysian story, it's a global story. Your students will reach out to anybody in the world and have the same story. And that is the power of disruptive technology. We just signed off an agreement with the Australian government in Nepal. We are just a minor player supplying the technology. This agriculture business has 300 people they employ. And so we supply technology to make smart farming there. And one of the key criteria is gender equality. Again, use this. I'm here to help you to use these sort of stories to connect to your own stories in your local environment. Because it's already been done. It's a template. Why go and reinvent the wheel? Takes a long time. That project took about 5 months to sign it off. But it's a government funding project. No matter how big, how small it is, you can multiply that. Because if you connect IPG to Runlinc, then you say they are using Runlinc also, then you got to match up already. For your plantation or whatever, fish farming. And then you got our console there, Honorary Console Philippine. Get him onto this sort of, please, the next workshop. Get Philippine to say a few words. Datuk, Philippine.
Okay, Dr. Peng, I think we are nearing the 2 hours time period.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you very much for your valuable input. Yeah. What Dr. Peng is, I can just summarize, the hands-on is very important in STEM education, We are talking about syllabus. Our syllabus is very perfect. There were even questions is where is the STEM syllabus? There is no syllabus for STEM because it is interdisciplinary, But if you look carefully at what we have done with the other schools, uh, the syllabus is there on the energy, on the energy base, it starts from the standard 4, 5, 6, it ends in the form 5. But what kind of technology and activities that you want to instill among your students is up to the creativity and the innovation of the teachers, And it's also problem solving. If you look at our own Ministry of Human Resource in Malaysia, only 35% of the workforce are considered as highly skilled. The balance 65% is medium and below. So therefore, we don't forget, STEM is not just a winning competitions, STEM is also accommodating those students who are maybe not inclined to academic, but also to the skill, So I'm very particular about why we start STEM programs with hands-on activities rather than you go by book. If you go by book, yes, the 35% will succeed, but you'll be missing the balance 65%, And these are the main force for our country at the moment. And I trust even in other countries, even in Korea, in South Korea, in America, and as well, the skilled workers are very, very important. That's why we have GVET and all that. And we must remember the elementary education in primary is very important for the basic of the STEM. So with that, thank you very much, Dr. Peng, Dr. Miro, for your valuable input. You can always have a follow-up session with them. Teacher Satya Priya has already requested whether you can have a direct collaboration. We are very happy, we are very happy if the schools can have a direct collaboration with Dr. Miro and Dr. Peng for the enhancement of the STEM education in Malaysia. I'm looking at Malaysia as one family rather than looking at whether you have to go through IPG. IPG's our strength is the pedagogy, how do we get the project and link it to the which syllabus and how you do the evaluation, how do the students understand the process, that's all, So with that, I hand over back to the MC. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I hope everybody will benefit from the STEM project-based learning on Runlinc Internet of Things and Artificial Intelligence program. Not only that, to make the program successful, each and everyone who gain knowledge today should apply this in teaching and learning to build quality, innovative, and creative students. Okay, because even this program shows that difficulty, but once you started to love this, you will get more interesting. Okay, last but not least, would like to thank all the wonderful presenter and amazing teacher who have joined the program today. Hope to meet you again in another program. Thank you. So now we are going to have photo session. Please on your camera, teachers. Teachers, please on your camera. We want to take a few photos.
Yes. I will take the photo.
Yeah. So teachers are all from Perak
No,
and Kuching.
some of them are from Selangor and some of them
Okay.
from Negeri Sembilan as well.
Nice, nice. So there's a few schools. There's a few
Yeah,
schools
there are a
come
few
together.
schools. Yeah,
Lovely.
because
I
they
think Miro
collaborate.
has put in his number as Cikgu Ravi suggested. Maybe throw questions at us. Make contact. Make
Yeah.
groups. Yeah, WhatsApp group.
Okay, sir. Okay, done. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Miro and Dr. Peng.
Welcome. Thank you so much. We have a blast. The Australians say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you
We
very
really
much
learned a
for your
lot.
time, Mr. Tang and Dr. Vito, Mr. Ravi, and everyone.
Yeah, I personally want to thank everyone, especially Mr. Ravi Gopal and Mr. Sri Ganapati, Dr. Peng, and Dr. Miro. I
Welcome.
introduced
Thank
this
you.
program to STKT Ladang Batarabic because I know the benefit of the program, Stemcell.
Sure.
Because
Absolutely.
previously my son involved in this program too. Yeah.
Yes, Darren, isn't it? That was Darren is that
Yeah,
Darren in San
there.
Antonio? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, look, there's a long story. We went as far as to demonstrate the San Antonio before the COVID,
Yes, sir.
2018 or something. Look,
Yeah.
it's a long journey, learning. It's lifelong learning, and we enjoy as much as you all do. And there's a lot more to come. And so I think what I enjoy most is the networking. Yeah, and
Okay.
new formulas coming out of things like that. If Mr. Velu, HM Velu, if you organize the drone demonstration, we'll be there. You just have to get ready. Tell us the time and the date. We're very fast. We are Elon Musk. We can't wait.
Yeah, we
But
will
we want your
contact you,
students to
sir.
be Elon Musk too.
Okay,
We
sir.
transform.
Okay, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
All
you,
the best.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, thank you very much, Haji Sam.